Yo Leute, was geht ab? Mike here, and welcome to a new type of video I wanna try out. And this video is about DMT, and I just gonna try to for like 10 minutes just talk about my personal relation and experiences and stuff that just comes up when I think about DMT. And the first thing that comes up is like, oh my fucking god, dimethyltryptamine. That's a pretty cool name. And the experience of DMT is very powerful, beautiful, breathtaking experience. I have taken DMT quite often in form of Changa ayahuasca or pure DMT, but mostly in a lower dosage. So I had like one breakthrough experiences and then like five quite high dosages. And then I microdosed most of the time, and I really like microdosing DMT when I really fully take my time in the morning, doing a little microdose of the substance, and then just take the time of like 1.5 hours to meditate, to feel into my body and become aware of the feeling so strongly that it becomes easier and easier and easier to me to tap into that feeling. And what's cool about DMT, my DMT experience, is that when I smoke DMT, I suddenly drop into like this intense sensations in my body. I'm so aware of my body, and my breath is opening up by itself. So I'm really sitting there like like doing some sort of Wim Hof or holotropic breath work. And I do this when the trip starts, I do this in the end of the trip, I do this during the trip, sometimes combined with some stretches and opening movements. And it's just something I do when I smoke DMT, and it's pretty amazing. It feels so good. That's also sometimes I do on the come up on LSD, that I did on the come up on LSD, that I just was breathing so deeply for like 1 hour. And why not? It's holotropic breathwork and Wim Hof. We know if we do that, we get in the psychedelic state, and combining this with psychedelics, this is like, yeah, sure, the most obvious thing to do, in my opinion. But it's getting pretty crazy, pretty intense. Though for me, it keeps me more grounded since I have the breath to stick with, and after like 10 or 15 minutes, I get into this trance of just becoming the breath. So even though the experience gets enhanced through this breath work and the trip becomes more intense, at the same time it becomes more easy and more flowy, if this makes sense. And yeah, it's definitely something I like doing. Back to the topic of DMT. I did this. I was sitting in front of the mirror, meditated. I did it for quite a lot in front of the mirror. And in this particular experience, I was just sitting for like 15 minutes and had this, my gaze focused in between my eyes on my third eye with peripheral vision. It's called the Hakalau. It's from a Hawaiian shamanic tradition. It's basically you focus on one point while you become aware on stuff around, and it helps to induce a trance state. And I did it. And after some time, I have this also usually when I do eye gazing with people or fixate on a point for quite a long time, that the vision field becomes distorted. And this time, yeah, it happened also a little bit more intense than usually, but I'm quite known to that. And so everything become a little bit warpy, and everything starts kind of not really breaking down, but really breaking down. You know, when you trip and it's like moving, but it's not moving like this. Okay, that's interesting. Feeling it shouldn't be like that, but it is like that, and I fucking know it is like that because it feels more real than real. And anyway, I had this feeling, and then became more and more intense, and suddenly like my whole face looked black, and I looked like an entity. And not because of that, but because of the rest of my vision field was like breaking down. And the interesting part about this is that I realized, oh my god, this is the such a similar experience, texture of experience, as I have when I smoke some DMT or ingest some DMT. And then I was like, maybe these people that say that DMT gets produced by the brain, because as far as I know, maybe they changed the scientific data till now. As far as I know, it never got proven. It might, I mean, it's quite likely, but people were like, yeah, this is the absolute truth. DMT is produced in our brain, and when we die, we release DMT because that's how we enter the other worlds. Hippy shitty nonsense talk. And yeah, then I had like this sober meditation experience where I had a very similar experience to DMT, and it was like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting, that's cool. And I'm not saying that DMT cannot be produced in the brain. I'm just saying that I don't know it, and we don't know it, or we didn't knew it for sure. So that's the point that I tried to make. And the other point, that through this meditation experience, I ended up being more drawn to the idea that we release DMT. Let's check the time. It's like 6 minutes 45. Oh, okay. Dimethyltryptamine. Oh my god, my first time I have a video about it. Unfortunately, only in German. Why I fucked it up quite often to smoke it, because I had this bottle, and on the bottom of the bottle I had like this tin foil. It's a very shady pipe where you just light the DMT and then evaporate it and hopefully don't burn, which I did. It's not the best, but it's okay. And keep the smoke in the bottle, and then you smoke it. And I did it, and I burned it for like 4 or 5 times, and then there was this last chance. I said like, yeah, I tried once, and then if it's not working, fuck that shit, maybe the DMT is broken, it's not about us. Inhaled and fell on the sofa, and everything became love and bliss, and beings were singing the most beautiful songs to me. And I remember I come back from the trip, I was like, I don't know, do I now laugh of joy or cry of joy? And I think I did both, because it was so amazing. It was like such a breathtaking experience, connecting me to a higher purpose, and this purpose feels like it's love. It's a good one, right? What I find quite fascinating about DMT is that I have the experience when I'm on a psytrance festival on a dance floor and I smoke a little bit of changa. Then first everybody hates me because it smells like fucking burnt mothballs. No, yeah, maybe some people hate it, maybe some people love it. I know some people love it. I do, the smell, because just the smell is associated with so beautiful experiences. Of course, I love the smell. Anyway, where I wanted to get at is that when I smoke changa on the dance floor, it feels like other people with changa, connecting to people with changa. It feels like you just know that there's this changa vibe the person is surrounded by, and you just see it. And then you also meet up. I had this once that I smoked changa, and then a random person came up to me and like with a pipe and looked at me and smoked changa, and that was cool. That was cool. It's anyway quite interesting what fascinating people you find on psytrance festivals. But that's I think it's a story for another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.